There is zero statistical significance.
Okay, because nobody can figure out what's being said here right now. No, there is no last thing right now. We're going to go.
It started like any typical morning at the talk show table, steady, predictable, and comfortable, until that sense of normalcy quickly fell apart. Within moments, the atmosphere shifted as co-hosts Alyssa Farrah Griffin and Sunny clashed live on air. What was meant to be a routine exchange suddenly became one of the most tense and uncomfortable segments the show has seen. The spark was a pointed argument over education, specifically public versus private schools and who should receive financial support. Neither side budged. Alyssa drew from personal experience while Sunny countered with statistics and studies. The exchange wasn't smooth or carefully worded. It was blunt and unfiltered. Voices overlapped, frustration surfaced, and the studio buzzed with intensity. Viewers could sense the discussion spiraling, watching as polite conversation gave way to open confrontation.
I'm not making this up. This has been studied. In 2020, a 2020 study found that only about half of states with voucher programs require teachers to have a bachelor's degree, require teachers to have training, require teachers to have licensing, require participating in private schools.
If I may get in, just to make it a conversation.
But because I have children and because I looked at
I went to public school. I believe you are to go to private school.
There is zero statistical significance.
You have to go to private school.
Sunny jumped in immediately, leaning forward with confidence and a stack of facts ready to go. She cited a 2020 study that raised serious concerns about private schools benefiting from voucher programs, pointing out that in nearly half the states using them, teachers weren't even required to hold a bachelor's degree. No formal training, no certification, nothing. Her tone was steady and precise, like a lawyer laying out evidence, and with each point the room felt heavier. But Alyssa didn't retreat. She brought the discussion back to lived reality, explaining that as a parent who grew up attending public schools herself, this issue wasn't theoretical. To her, it was about real families making choices they believe are right for their children. That was the stand she refused to abandon. The trouble was, neither side was willing to budge. Their voices overlapped, interruptions piled up, and the exchange turned into a verbal tug of war where arguments collided and emotions rose. Any sense of clarity slipped away, leaving viewers struggling to keep up.
What's being said here right now? No, there is no last thing right now. We're going to go to break, and then we're gonna come back.
Yes,
because you can't. What's happening is no one can hear anything anyone is saying, so everybody has to.
Yes, we can talk.
Well,
that
you know,
goes for you too.
That's
the word, and she's been talking.
And that's when the tension pushed the show to the edge of total meltdown. Alyssa and Sunny refused to yield, their words colliding in midair until the debate sounded less like conversation and more like pure noise. The studio buzzed with chaos, and all eyes turned to the one person who could regain control, Whoopi Goldberg. Calm, steady, and commanding, her voice sliced through the commotion like a knife. There is zero statistical significance. Nobody can even tell what's being said right now, she declared, stopping the argument instantly. Her tone wasn't just firm, it was final. The kind of authority that seizes a room. Then came the moment everyone had been waiting for, a break. Nervous laughter rippled through the audience, the kind that comes after holding your breath too long. Relief washed over the space, but the damage was already done. On live television, silence can be striking, but chaos leaves a lasting impression. And until Whoopi intervened, chaos had been running the show. She didn't just pause the clash, she shut it down with the sharp authority of a teacher breaking up a fight.
I enjoy owning the libs or smacking them down. I want to hear from them and I want to learn, and I'm going to disagree, but we're going to try to find the things we can agree on, and then there's going to be some where we don't, and that's how most people look.
But that explosive moment was just the beginning. The tension didn't vanish when the cameras went off. It hung in the studio like a storm that hadn't yet passed. When the show returned from break, everything felt off. Laughter sounded forced, smiles looked uneasy, and the heat from the earlier argument still lingered in the air. Goldberg, ever the calm anchor, didn't hesitate. She scanned the table with steady authority and reminded everyone why they were there, to have honest conversations, not shouting matches. We're all here at the table. Yes, and we're having a conversation, she said, her tone firm but measured, carrying the weight of unmistakable control. She didn't ignore the clash or pretend it never happened. Instead, she reframed it, explaining to viewers that what they just witnessed was the real essence of passionate debate, the messy, unscripted moments when strong convictions collide. That, she emphasized, was the heart of the show. It wasn't meant to be polished or perfectly smooth. Tension and discomfort are natural when people genuinely care about their beliefs. Alyssa and Sunny listened quietly as Goldberg reminded them, and the audience, that heated arguments don't have to become personal, and when the cameras stop, disagreements stay at the table. Her words reset the mood, giving everyone space to breathe and showing that even intense moments can teach something valuable.
Oh, here at the table,
Yes,
and we're having a conversation,
yes.
and we're going to go back to it. But before we do, I just want to say, this is the beauty of people who have different opinions. Sometimes it's messy. We're going to go back to the convo that we were in.
The conversation had shifted from a chaotic shouting match into something closer to a real debate, tension still simmering just beneath the surface. Both Alyssa and Sunny carefully measured their words after Goldberg's firm intervention, aware of how close they'd come to crossing the line, while Goldberg herself acted like a calm but vigilant referee, keeping the discussion in check and ensuring another on-air blow-up wasn't an option. Yet the disagreement remained, raw and determined, holding viewers' attention. Sunny leaned forward, her tone edged with conviction, presenting statistics not for showmanship, but to explain why voucher programs spark such strong reactions. If states don't even require teachers to have degrees or proper training, how can parents trust that their children are getting a real education? Alyssa responded with calm confidence, reaffirming her belief that parents should have the right to choose what's best for their children. To her, the debate wasn't about government control. It was about freedom, giving families trapped in struggling public schools a real chance to open new doors and create opportunities for their kids, framing vouchers not as a threat, but as a lifeline.
Moments when Alyssa will say that I disagree with. There are moments more than I think that she'll admit to. She really disagrees with me, but we leave it at the table. It's never personal, and that's how we do it. And I love that about her. I love that about our...
It was like two entirely different worlds colliding at one table, and the tension wasn't just between Alyssa and Sunny anymore. Other panelists shifted uneasily in their seats, unsure whether to jump in or stay out of the crossfire, while the studio audience was completely hooked. Gasps, murmurs, and bursts of applause punctuating the heated debate. This was live television at its rawest, unpredictable, unscripted, and impossible to look away from. Through it all, Whoopi stayed quiet, observing like a strategist plotting her move. Her silence wasn't hesitation, but deliberate, letting the tension rise just enough for her words to land with full impact. When she finally spoke, her voice cut through the chaos, calm yet commanding, reminding everyone that disagreement isn't the problem. The real issue arises when people stop listening, because nobody can hear anything when everyone is talking over each other. Her tone carried sharpness tempered with patient exasperation, addressing not just the co-hosts, but anyone at home who had ever been trapped in a heated argument. Alyssa and Sunny exchanged glances, each determined to make her point, but Goldberg shifted focus away from their duel and back to the larger purpose of the show, making the stakes clear. This wasn't just about hot topics or policy debates, it was about personalities. And when personalities collide, this hard, the line between entertainment and chaos blurs. Viewers weren't watching merely a debate about schools. They were witnessing a clash of egos, live, raw, messy, and utterly compelling. Yet, Whoopi didn't stop there. She acknowledged that moments like these were part of real, unscripted conversation, framing the discomfort as essential. Sometimes it's messy, she said. Messy means real. Messy means passionate. Messy means the audience is seeing something authentic and unpolished. The camera lingered on Alyssa as she softened slightly, explaining her goal wasn't to crush opposing views but to understand them, even if agreement wasn't possible, while Sunny listened, still firm, but less fiery. Though they remained on opposite sides, the roar of the argument cooled, and viewers could see the shift in real time. It was no longer about winning, but about showing that verbal sparring could coexist with composure, that a heated argument could be guided without the table collapsing. For viewers, it became more than daytime drama. It mirrored real life, families arguing at dinner, friends debating online, people clashing over politics, schools, and values. Only here it was broadcast to millions under the unblinking gaze of studio lights. In that moment, Alyssa and Sunny represented more than themselves. They embodied the very nature of disagreement in a divided world. Though the segment ended, its energy lingered. No one would forget the clash or Whoopi's intervention. This wasn't just another discussion on The View. It was a live, unforgettable lesson in debate, respect, and the messy human reality of strong opinions, leaving viewers to wonder how much conflict is too much and how much chaos can unfold under bright lights before it tips over. Then came the moment when Whoopi tied it all together, giving the audience a peek behind the curtain. She reminded everyone that clashes at this table weren't just expected, they were part of the show's DNA. There are times when Alyssa says something I disagree with, she said, and there are times when she really disagrees with me, but we leave it at the table. Her words revealed the bigger picture. Arguments on air don't follow co-hosts backstage. No grudges, no silent treatments, no lingering resentment. That balance is what gives the show its strength. Co-hosts can challenge each other fiercely on screen and still respect one another when the cameras stop rolling. The audience also got to see a different side of Sunny and Alyssa. Despite the earlier sparks, Whoopi emphasized that their passion, not hostility, drove the debate. It was messy, yes, but it demonstrated that the table could handle strong differences without falling apart. She even offered a softer note, praising Alyssa and the show for that resilience. After all the shouting and tension, the takeaway was clear. This wasn't just daytime drama. It was a stage where disagreement and respect could coexist. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. See you next time.